Hi GQ, this is Dickey, your favorite texture guru, founder, creator, and author of Hair Rules. So many titles, so little time. I'm here to take you through so-called hard to manage textures, wavy, curly, kinky, and show you how easy it can be. And there's 1,000,001 textures in between kinky, curly, and wavy of hair types that are fine, thin, thick, or coarse. There's a grading system that the consumer or the community has picked up, and it's 4, 3, 2, 1, but they're all textures. The real value to the grading system is that it helps you to accurately hone in on a regimen specific to your hair texture. So what we're gonna do today, and we've found 3 great textures, and we're gonna show you step by step how to care for one in terms of hair care and styling all in one. Blake has a very interesting texture. It's somewhere between a 2 and a 3, and it's kind of a medium, fine-ish texture that can be curly. And what's great about Blake's texture is that depending upon when and how you put your product on and how wet the hair is, you'll be able to stretch it out and get a more wavy appeal to it. With these textures, what's so essential is that you don't dry the hair out, and you're using a shampoo that is a cream that allows you to start the detangling process first while you're shampooing, which makes a lot more sense for textures that have a lot of spring, tangles, and coils. And Blake can go between a low sudsing sulfate-free shampoo or a no suds cleansing cream if he chooses to shampoo every day. We need to clean Blake's scalp and his hair and detangle at the same time. And oftentimes guys who lead an active lifestyle or it's warmer and warmer climate like to shampoo their hair every day. So using a no suds shampoo would be really great for him. So for Blake, because his hair is longer, that longer hair, I call it elderly hair. It's been there forever, so it's really dry. So if you're constantly shampooing it with things that lather, you're constantly drying it out and creating frizz. So Blake could use a no suds shampoo every single day without the fear of his hair being dried out and frizzy. As you can see, because it's non-sudsing, you're gonna use enough to cover the hair, so you feel like something's actually happening. It's okay to use a wide tooth comb if you need to. So on Blake's hair, because Blake has a looser, silkier, wavier, curlier texture, it's best to wring as much of the water out before putting the conditioner part on, because it'll work more effectively on his hair versus the other 2 tighter, kinkier textures, which need a lot more of the water in the hair to move through the hair because it's denser textures. Rinsing of shampoo is the same thing. It's like after you've done your scrub detangle process with shampooing, you essentially, as you're rinsing and squeezing the water and product through the hair as you're rinsing in a more outwardly motion, because remember, textures that have a lot of spring and coils require a lot of lengthening in order to get more definition and elongation. So as you're rinsing, you're not rinsing or doing this to the hair as much as you are scrubbing, cleaning, rinsing, and detangling. So everything is in an outward, downward motion. The trick with these textures, right, is that you add as much conditioner as you have hair on your head. That's a big misconception with kinky, curly, wavier textures. They have denser, drier, kinkier, spongier textures. Using a conditioner helps to manipulate the hair texture, and you can't use a little bit of conditioner in a lot of hair and expect anything to happen. So with your conditioner, that's when you comb your hair. You don't comb your hair when it's dry or when it doesn't have conditioner, and a conditioner is there to serve one purpose. It's to help detangle, soften, and help you to use a comb to get through your hair without damaging your hair. And Blake, what he'll do is he'll use all of his combing and manipulating his hair while he has conditioner, because he'll do very little manipulating on wet hair before he adds a styling product. Now that we've rinsed and conditioned, we take a little bit of the water out of Blake's hair without disturbing his curl pattern, just squeezing the water out. And then we add styling cream. So Blake's gonna use a kinky curling cream like he normally would, put his products in his hair. Styling happens almost instantaneously after you've rinsed out your conditioner. And the key to really getting really great definition and elongation and shine and luster without the frizz when you use your styling products is to apply them to sopping wet hair. That's the time when you've got your conditioner in your hair that helps to prep your hair for your styling products. So you've got no frizz, you've got the perfect definition, and you're adding your styling product in the shower. And the key is to not towel dry or squeeze any water out until after you have product in the hair. Styling is a fixative and it helps to fix the hair in the way that you prepped it. So now that Blake has rinsed his hair and prepped his hair for a styling product, and the key is to use a wide tooth comb after he's applied it to his wet hair. It's a perfect ratio of water and styling product, and detangling and styling and curl all happens while the hair is super wet. And again, this is a curl cream that will add some hold and reinforce his waves and curls without making it greasy or without giving it a hard, crunchy hold, so that it's a little softer, more natural. So now we're at that stage where, remember I told you that Blake and his hair texture could add on or cocktail products? We put the curling cream in, Blake combed it through, and now we're gonna add a water-based mousse to add a little bit of hold and firmness to his hair. So it's Wavy Mousse, hairrules Wavy Mousse, pump about 5 pumps, and without disturbing his curl pattern, Blake can kind of distribute it from the roots to the ends, because remember it's a water-based mousse, and it will actually help speed up the drying time. So now we're moving on to styling or drying, right? Either air drying or using a diffuser. One of the benefits to using a blow dryer with a diffuser is that the diffuser doesn't throw the hair all over the place. Last step is using a nice cream as a polisher for a groomed look. The great thing about using some type of a cream or balm or polisher at the end is that it just grooms the hair nicely and adds just enough moisture without making the hair look greasy, and takes away any frizz and gives more luster and shine to the hair. Even though Blake has long curly hair, his hair is groomed, it's not frizzy, it's put together. He could easily put on a tux and go to an event and have his hair be put together and rock long curly hair. So Silvio has a nice kind of, they would call his hair a 3C, right? A tight curly texture that has a lot of density. And what Silvio needs really is elongation and definition. He has a lot of frizz. It's kind of a spongier texture that has the ability to have a lot more definition and curl pattern and elongation. So he needs a lot of moisture. The unique difference between he and Blake is that he would be wetting his hair more frequently because he has a tighter, drier, spongier texture. So his No Suds shampoo would be his primary shampoo that he used once a week. He would co-wash throughout the week if he so needed to. Co-washing simply means that you are rinsing your hair to clean it, like you do your body when you shower, and you recondition your hair. Most important thing with the texture this dense and thick and curly is water. Water kind of breaks down the hair and softens it up and reveals your natural texture. The biggest complaint I hear with textures that are 3s or 4s is that my hair is so thick it takes forever for the water to go through it. That's generally from people who have been told not to wet their hair every day because it's really dry, which makes absolutely no sense because your hair loves water. And if you've got thick, curly, coily, kinky hair, it should take a minute. And remember, the most important thing when you're shampooing is that the No Suds shampoo cleansing cream will allow him to detangling while he's shampooing. The No Suds shampoos, or co-washes, so they call them, are really concentrated. And once you add water to them, like I've done to our cleansing cream, they emulsify and move through the hair even better. You know, it's often, there's this misconception that you need a lot of work with these coily textures, and I use conditioner as a tool to help me to achieve definitions. If I've got a lot of conditioner in the hair, I'm able to work it through and detangle and silken the strands so that my styling product, my curl cream or whip, works more effectively. Your conditioner reveals your natural texture. Your styling product captures your natural texture. Use as much conditioner on your hair as you have hair on your head. If you want the definition and elongation to your hair and you've got thick, kinky, coily, coarse hair, then conditioner just helps to reveal your natural texture. And remember, this happens really fast, so Silvio can put his head up slowly and get his product. And a good trick too, after you apply product to your wet hair, sometimes you want to re-wet it so it hangs even more. Without rinsing it, just re-wet it. So that's really it, right? So what you see wet is how it will set. And so we're gonna go dry it now with the blow dryer and the diffuser. Now that Silvio has dried his hair, he can put on another attachment on this great Dyson dryer, and it's a condenser. And what it does is it helps to move the curl around and release the curl pattern. The difference between Silvio and Blake is that after Silvio's hair dries, he'll stretch it out with his blow dryer or his fingers. For Silvio's final step, he can take a hydrating finishing balm, which is a grooming cream for his hair texture, and he can add a little bit throughout the day or after his hair is dry like it is now, just to add more luster and sheen to his hair. And it also kind of softens it up and he's able to get more movement out of it. Now we get to Warner, and he's got a type 4 kinky coily texture. He's got really thick hair, it's really dense, he's got a lot of tight coils. And so the objective for him is to keep his coils and his strands as elongated as possible. He has a tightly wound, zigzaggy, coily texture, which needs a lot of moisture and it needs a lot of conditioner and rinse and repeat process. So his shower routine incorporates his hair every time. So we need to make sure that we get enough cleansing cream, no Suds shampoo in the hair to help Warner detangle and elongate and scrub his scalp and keep his strands tangle free. So this is usually the most disastrous part of shampooing for anybody who has a kinkier, spongier type 4C texture, is the shampooing. Traditional shampoos are like putting gasoline or alcohol on our hair, right? So it dries out your naturally dry hair, opposed to you being able to use something that's much more gentle, innovative, and allowing you to detangle while you're shampooing. Usually traditional shampoos for these textures make it more difficult to detangle the hair. Using conditioner after you've shampooed your hair with something that strips it makes it just feel not as crappy as it did when you rinsed out the conditioner or the shampoo. So after we've gotten Warner's hair cleaned, 90% detangled at his cleanse process, now the conditioner is gonna work more effectively. Usually the conditioner just makes the hair feel not as crappy as it did when he rinsed out the regular shampoos that dry out and tangle and mat up the hair. So at no point during his regimen has he ever drying the hair out. And this would be Warner's once a week regimen of shampooing and conditioning. And so now that we've got the conditioner and we detangled Warner's hair, it's perfectly prepped for his styling portion of his routine. And again, all this happens almost simultaneously in the shower on sopping, wet, freshly conditioned, cleaned coils. And because 4C textures are the driest within the texture spectrum, we add a little oil to seal in the moisture. We get really literal when it comes to immediately adding your styling product to super wet conditioned hair with Warner because he has a 4-type texture. And remember, the water and the conditioner help to elongate and bring out his natural texture. So the SLOC method, liquid oil cream, simply means wetting, oil, and locking in with your styling product. So it's really layering oil and using oil more intentionally, not as a moisturizer. Okay, so now we're just reactivating the product. Remember I said re-wet the hair if you like. It's a great tip to reactivate the product so you get a lot of definition and distribute your product evenly through your dense, kinky hair. So now that Warner has dried his hair, he's gonna switch out his diffuser and add his condenser to the end of his blow dryer, like Silvio. Another additional finishing product for coily afro textures is that they can use shine sprays, which are great to add more luster to your hair. One of the favorite tools, of course, among 4C textures is a nice pick that helps to shape and primp your coils and your froey hair. It's a great tool to kind of lift and separate. And it doesn't require you to have to pick your hair all the way through, it just kind of builds a shape in your hair. One of the misconceptions with picks is that if you're picking out your fro, that's one thing, but if you're picking out your coils that you set, it's just about lifting at mid-shaft or at the root to lift and separate so your coils have more pronunciation. Okay, GQ, you've seen 3 different ways to take care of 3 different hair textures, celebrating their unique similarities and differences. So may all your good hair days outweigh all your bad hair days.